Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in JustFlight's Piper Arrow 3. We have a 46 nautical mile flight from Oscar Kilo Bravo Oceanside to Sierra Delta Mike Brownfield Municipal. We'll be flying VFR and navigating the San Diego Bravo using a Flyway, which will take us right over San Diego International. Should be an awesome and scenic flight, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Alright, in my last video we ended up here at Oceanside with my buddy Floyd and a Piper Arrow 3. They didn't have the same aircraft for rental, so we've got a different model today with the GTN 750. Let's get started. We'll head down here, make sure the parking brake is set and our circuit breakers are all in. We'll get the prop to full forward, then we'll go over here to the fuel selector and turn that to the left fuel tank. We'll look down here at our trim and make sure that that is set for takeoff. That all looks good. Let me move the prop out of the way for a second so I can reach the battery switch. We'll turn the battery on and put the prop back to where it's supposed to be. I've got 3 green lights from my landing gear, so that's down. We'll head over here, open up the window, check that the prop area is clear. Call clear prop. Then we'll head back down here. We'll get our fuel pump on. We'll bring the mixture to full rich. We'll check that we have fuel flow. We do. Now we'll bring the mixture back to idle cutoff and turn the fuel pump off. Then move the mixture forward just a little bit and crack the throttle. Alright, keys are in the ignition. And we have ignition. Now we'll advance the mixture back to full rich. Let's check that we have oil pressure. We do have oil pressure. You can see that there in the gauges. I love being able to move around with TrackIR and physically, move about the cockpit to see gauges. Now let's adjust the throttle. We'll get the alternator on. Alright, everything looks stable, so we can adjust the mixture for ground operations. This is the freeware PMS 520 for the GTN 750, so we'll start by plugging in the ATIS for the nearest towered field, and since we're running with real weather, we'll listen to the actual real ATIS from liveatc.net.
Montgomery Tower information, Zulu 2253 Zulu, wind 290 at 7, visibility 10, sky clear, temperature 18, dew point 08, altimeter 2996. As
I dial in that altimeter setting, I'll do a sanity check versus the field elevation, which is 28 feet. We are within 75 feet of field elevation, so that looks good. Oceanside is an untowered field, so we'll head back up here and type in the CTAF frequency for Oceanside. And then for today's flight, we'll be using a whole bunch of visual reporting points, which all are in the GPS. So I'm going to type all of those in to the GTN 750, and while I'm doing that, I'll open up Foreflight and take you through the flight brief. We'll start with the VFR sectional, which looks like a mess because we have the San Diego Bravo between us and where we want to go. Normally, we would need to get a Bravo clearance. However, there's an alternative, and that is VFR flyways. So if we open up the San Diego Flyway map, we can see that there are corridors carved through the Bravo that are not in the Bravo. And you can see that 4,500 and below. As we scroll down, you can see 3,500 through 4,500. So if we follow one of those flyways at 3,500, we will not need a Bravo clearance. We will use VFR reporting points. The first one is the power plant, which is VPSPP. We can put that into the GPS. It's an actual GPS point. We're going to head south, overflying Palomar's airspace at 3,500. Then look for the Del Mar Racetrack, VPSRT. Then Torrey Pines Golf Course. Should be pretty easy to spot. From there, we'll pass Mount Soledad, which will be on our right, Crystal Pier, also on our right, and overfly San Diego International at 3,500. If you zoom in, there's the 3,400 to 4,600 corridor, so we need to stay within that range for VFR Flyway. We'll continue south, turning just north of Imperial Beach Airfield, and then we'll head straight to Brownfield and follow tower instructions for pattern entry. We're running with live weather and time, so it should match what's in Foreflight, which means we can see what runway we can expect based on the current wind. So if we toggle over to brown field and tap on it, we can see that the winds are coming out of the west, so we can expect that we're going to end up on 26 left or 26 right, probably 26 left, which is the shorter runway for general aviation. And on Oceanside, winds are also out of the west, so we can expect that we're going to depart on runway 25. Because Foreflight has live traffic, you can zoom in on the airport, turn on traffic, and see which runway is actually being used by the traffic just by watching it for a minute or two. So we can see on Oceanside, indeed, they are using runway 25. Here's somebody landing currently at Oceanside, and if we move all the way down to Brownfield, there you go. There's somebody taking off on 26 from Brownfield, so now we know which runways are in use. If we go back to our Flyway chart and look on the left-hand side, there's a note for the VFR corridor saying that there is a specific CTAF frequency for it, which is 12605. It's not required, but pilots are encouraged to use it to exchange information with each other while they're in the VFR corridor. Oceanside traffic, Piper 29376, taxi from the ramp to runway 25, hold short, Oceanside. Both Oceanside and Brownfield are freeware airports by the same developer. They're available on flightsim.to, and I've got the links in the video details, so check it out if you would like to enjoy them. You can see these are fantastic. I love all the detail from both of these fields. Alright, we are clear, so let's release our parking brake and get underway. You can see the windsock up ahead. We've got a bit of a crosswind and it's aligning with our selected runway. It's not fully horizontal, which is good, so it's maybe about 60 degrees, 45 to 60 degrees. The trick for reading the windsock is when it is fully horizontal, you have at least a 15 knot wind, so we know that we're less than 15 knots. Up ahead there's a little run-up area off to the right, so we're going to pull over and do our run-up there. It's a luxury. The field I fly out of in real life doesn't have run-up areas, it's just the hold short line. Look at all these awesome signs. I love the detail for this airport. Okay, during the run-up, that's our last chance to make sure that everything is working correctly on the airplane. So we're going to head down here and do our magneto check. We'll get the throttle to 2000 RPM, and the magnetos are little self-contained generators attached to the engine that power the spark plugs on the engine. So we're going to check each mag independently, and that'll let us know if we have fouling on the spark plugs or if we have a problem with the magneto. That all looks good. So we'll finish up our run-up and then continue on to the hold short line here. And we've got TrackIR, so I can look over my shoulder and see that everything is clear, which is awesome. Let's make our CTAF call. Oceanside traffic, Piper 376 departing runway 25, will be making a left crosswind departure to the south at 3,500 Oceanside. Alright, game on. Alright, as we taxi out, I'll give you a quick update on my flight lessons, which is no update. Last two lessons, both canceled due to weather. We had some snow last week. We've had just non-stop wind, crazy wind. Tomorrow, in theory, I have another flight lesson, but the weather forecast looks windy. So March is pretty windy. It's kind of tough to get flight lessons in. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get that one in. If not, there's another one I've got scheduled midweek, and I think that one might pan out. So remember, guys, I am trying to get the sign-off from the chief flight instructor to do my 150 nautical mile solo cross-country, and I just need to get a lesson in. I need one more lesson with my instructor to get him to boot me over to the chief. I did figure out how to set up cameras inside the cockpit that have dual camera setups, so I got my last lesson on video, and I posted that here on YouTube, but not a lot of people saw that video, so if you missed it and you're interested, check it out. It's like 2 videos ago in my stream. In other news, some of you may know that I'm a sci-fi author, and one of my books just got released as an audiobook. The book is called Hayden's World, and if you enjoy sci-fi, check it out. I'll put the link in the video details. End of shameless plug. Back to the virtual flight. So we're turning left crosswind here. And we're going to do a crosswind departure and keep on going south along the shoreline, looking for the plant as our first waypoint. We are on track. Let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery. Alright, that was a lot of fun. We are right on the border of Mexico here, and just on the other side is Tijuana. It was very cool to use a VFR Flyway and fly right over the top of San Diego International. So I hope you enjoyed the flight. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.